got my 3 pieces layered. I got my muslin washed and ironed, and I pieced 2 pieces together and ironed the seam out, and I didn't make it so it was directly in the center of the quilt. The material was long enough that I could not have to do that. And then what I did is I laid all 3 layers out on the floor: the muslin, the batting, and the top. Laid them all out on the floor over there, got them all lined up, straightened out, all the wrinkles out, and then I rolled it, because if it was a bigger quilt, I'd put it on a quilting rack that I have, but being as it's not that big of a quilt, the quilting rack is kind of a pain in the butt to work with. It's really not big enough to put on there. Sorry, pain in a hiney. So what I did is I just, like if I was going to machine quilt it, except I'm going to hand quilt it, I flattened it all out, and then I rolled and I straightened, rolled and straightened. And so basically then that way, you know, you've got wrinkle free. And then here, if you'll see, I could take it and flip it, and I'll quilt it up here. But you see it's nice and wrinkle free. And that way I can ensure that it stays that way. So each time I get a row done with the quilting, then I'll unroll another roll. And that way I can smooth and roll and smooth and roll. And so anyway, I'm going to also, because I'm not going to quilt every single block, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some embroidery thread that's going to be doubled, and I'm going to, in the center of the squares, do like a tie quilting, basically. There's another name for it, I know, but I can't think of it offhand. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'll show you when I get there. It'll be like in the center of each of the blocks, and it'll just be a little knot that'll hold it in place. And then I'm only going to quilt the muslin ones, so just the muslin blocks with the things on them. Okay, so with the tie quilting, you just are going to go through all 3 layers with your embroidery thread, or whatever you're using to do it. And I used red because the red, and then on the back, because it's muslin, you're going to see little red puckers every 4 blocks. So it'll look kind of decorative on the back. And then the quilting part that I do, I'm actually going to do either in a translucent quilt or in a cream color. So every 4 blocks, you will see in the center of every 4 patch, I should say, because this is actually the patch. It's kind of hard to tell it. These 4 are the patch. So every 4 patch, every 4 blocks, there'll be 1 little tie in there. So, got all the quilting done. It was a couple of 6 and 8 hour days of, well, I guess it was actually 3 days. And like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of intricate quilting on it, so these hands just don't quilt like they used to. But on the back, it looks like that. So now I just have to put the binding on. And actually what I'll do is I'll stitch down the side here on the binding, and that will just help hold the quilt a little better. And I did put a couple of tie knots on the edges there, but I will, like I said, I'll stitch all the way down the sides of the sash, and is this part here, and then I'll put on the binding, and the quilt is done, and it will be presented this Sunday. So we got it done, and believe me, Papa is well worth it, and his family, his kids, they truly love and admire him, as we all do. Okay, and there it is, the completed quilt. It's a little bit bigger than a lap quilt, but smaller than a twin size. I did as I said, the stitching of the blocks I did all by hand, and I stitched around the sash by hand too, this part here, because I couldn't find my walking foot. But when it came to the binding, I thought, oh, I'll just never get it done in time if I don't find the walking foot. But voila, the walking foot was exactly where the walking foot was supposed to be. This is what they call a walking foot or a quilter's foot, and what it does is it has little feet. Where is it at? Yeah, it has little feet on there that makes the top of your material walk along with the bottom. So instead of just the dog feeders on the bottom of your sewing machine, it pushes the material top and bottom, and then you don't get that bunching and where the bottom of your material always ends up bunched up. See, it does a really nice job of it. So anyway, it's not perfect, but it is made from the heart. And Sunday is the day, so 2 days. It cut it kind of close, but we got it done. So let me see, I'll show you the back of it.
Smile. Act like you're happy. Yeah, I just can't see it from here.
That's the smile. You don't want to see it.